Hi, Elise. I heard you recently visited New York City.
Yes, I did. I spent 5 days there with my sister.
5 days sounds nice. Was that your first time in New York?
Yes, it was my first time. I had wanted to visit New York for many years.
What did you think when you first arrived?
At first, I felt a little overwhelmed. There were people everywhere. The streets were busy, the buildings were enormous, and I could hear cars honking all around me.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It was intense, but it was also exciting. I felt like I was inside a movie.
How did you get from the airport to your hotel?
We took a taxi. The traffic was slow, so the ride took longer than we expected.
Was the taxi expensive?
Yes, it was a little expensive, but we had 2 large suitcases, so taking a taxi was easier than taking the subway.
Where was your hotel?
Our hotel was in Manhattan, near Times Square.
Wow, that is a very busy area.
It certainly is. Even late at night, there were bright lights, music, tourists, and street performers.
Did you visit Times Square on your first night?
Yes, after checking into the hotel, we left our bags in the room and walked there.
What was it like?
It was brighter than I imagined. There were enormous screens on every building. Some screens showed advertisements, and others showed movie trailers and news.
Were there a lot of people?
So many people. We had to walk slowly because the sidewalks were crowded.
Did you take 100 pictures?
Almost. We took many pictures, but it was difficult to get a good one without strangers walking behind us.
I can imagine that. What did you do the next day?
The next morning, we went to Central Park.
Did you walk through the entire park?
No, not even close. Central Park is much bigger than I expected. We walked for about 2 hours, and we only saw a small part of it.
What did you see there?
We saw people running, riding bicycles, walking their dogs, and having picnics. We also saw a beautiful lake.
Was it peaceful?
Yes, and that surprised me. Outside the park, New York felt loud and busy. Inside the park, it felt calm and relaxing.
That sounds like a nice break from the city.
It really was.
Did you eat anything in the park?
We bought coffee and bagels from a small cafe. Then we sat on a bench and watched people walking by.
What kind of bagel did you get?
I had a toasted bagel with cream cheese. My sister had one with eggs and cheese.
That sounds like a real New York breakfast.
It was delicious. The coffee was good too, but it was very hot.
You have to be careful with that first sip.
Definitely.
What did you do after Central Park?
We visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Do you enjoy visiting museums?
Yes, but the museum was enormous. We spent almost 3 hours there, and we still did not see everything.
What was your favorite part?
I loved the Egyptian art section. There were ancient statues, jewelry, and even a large Egyptian temple.
That sounds fascinating.
It was. My sister preferred the paintings. She spent a long time looking at the European artwork.
Did you visit the Statue of Liberty?
Yes, we did. We took a boat to Liberty Island.
How was the boat ride?
It was wonderful. The weather was clear, and we had a beautiful view of the city.
Could you see the Manhattan skyline?
Yes. I took several pictures of the skyline from the boat. The buildings looked incredible from the water.
What did you think of the Statue of Liberty?
It was beautiful. I had seen it many times in pictures, but seeing it in person felt completely different.
Did you go inside the statue?
No, we did not. We walked around the island, took pictures, and read about the statue's history.
Did you also visit Ellis Island?
Yes, we visited the Immigration Museum there.
Was it interesting?
Very interesting. We learned about the millions of immigrants who arrived in the United States through Ellis Island.
That must have been emotional.
It was. There were old photographs, suitcases, documents, and personal stories from families who came to America.
Places like that make history feel real.
Exactly. It was not just information in a book. These were real people with real dreams and fears.
What other places did you visit?
We walked across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Did you walk all the way across?
Yes, but we took our time. We stopped several times to enjoy the view and take pictures.
Was it crowded?
A little. There were tourists, people riding bicycles, and local residents walking across the bridge.
What did you do when you arrived in Brooklyn?
We walked around the area near the bridge. Then we found a small pizza restaurant.
Now we are talking. Did you try New York-style pizza?
Of course! The slices were enormous.
How did you eat them?
I folded my slice in half, just like I saw other people doing.
Was it good?
It was excellent. The crust was thin, the cheese was hot, and the sauce had a lot of flavor.
Now you are making me hungry.
Good! You should also try a New York hot dog when you visit.
Did you buy one from a street cart?
Yes. It was simple, but it tasted good. I added mustard and onions.
I am not sure about the onions.
You have to try it at least once.
All right, I will trust you. Did you see a Broadway show?
Yes, that was one of the best parts of the trip.
Which show did you see?
We saw a musical. The actors were amazing, and the live music was beautiful.
Were the tickets expensive?
They were not cheap, but we bought them online several weeks before our trip, so we found a reasonable price.
Was the theater large?
It was smaller than I expected, but that made the experience feel more personal.
I bet the performers seemed very close.
They did. We could clearly see their faces and expressions.
What did you do after the show?
We walked back toward Times Square and stopped for dessert.
Dessert? What did you order?
I had a slice of New York cheesecake. My sister ordered chocolate cake.
Was the cheesecake good?
It was rich, creamy, and very filling. I could not finish the whole slice.
That means the slice was too big.
Or maybe I had already eaten too much pizza.
That is probably the real reason.
How did you travel around the city during your trip?
We mostly used the subway.
Was the subway difficult to understand?
It was confusing at first. We took the wrong train once and ended up going in the opposite direction.
Oh no, what did you do?
We got off at the next station, looked at the map, and asked someone for help.
Were people friendly?
Most people were helpful. They were usually in a hurry, but they still answered our questions.
Did you feel safe in the city?
Most of the time, yes. We stayed aware of our surroundings, kept our phones and bags close, and avoided empty streets late at night.
That is good advice for any large city.
Exactly. We were careful, but we still enjoyed ourselves.
Did you do any shopping?
A little. We visited some stores on Fifth Avenue, but many things were too expensive for us.
I am not surprised.
Neither was my wallet.
Did you buy anything?
I bought a New York sweatshirt, a small Statue of Liberty souvenir, and some gifts for my family.
What was your favorite place in New York?
That is difficult to answer. I loved the energy of Times Square, the peaceful feeling of Central Park, and the view from the Brooklyn Bridge.
Was there anything you did not like?
I did not like the traffic, the noise, or the high prices. Our hotel room was also much smaller than it looked in the pictures.
Really? How small was it?
It was so small that we could barely open both suitcases at the same time.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It was, but we were hardly ever in the room.
Would you visit New York again?
Definitely. There are still many things I want to see.
What would you do on your next trip?
I would visit more neighborhoods. I would like to spend time in Harlem, Chinatown, Greenwich Village, and Queens.
Would you stay near Times Square again?
Maybe not. It was exciting, but it was also noisy. Next time, I might stay somewhere quieter.
Do you think you could live in New York?
I am not sure. I love visiting the city, but living there would be very different.
Why do you say that?
Everything moves very quickly. The apartments are expensive, the streets are crowded, and people always seem busy.
But there are probably many opportunities there.
That is true. There are many jobs, restaurants, museums, theaters, and people from all over the world.
It sounds like New York has something for everyone.
It really does. You can hear many languages, try food from different countries, and meet people from many cultures.
After hearing about your trip, I want to visit even more.
You should go. Just remember to bring comfortable shoes,
Shoes so important.
because you will walk much more than you expect.
All right, comfortable shoes, a subway map, and enough money for pizza.
Exactly. And do not forget your camera.
Thanks for the advice, Elise.
You're welcome. I hope you get to visit New York soon.
Me too. Maybe next year.
When you go, tell me all about your trip.
I will, and maybe you can help me plan it.
I would be happy to help.